be up shortly.
Copy that. Same thing on Twitter. Okay. Post. Tweet.
Sweet.
Okay. Audio test. 1, 2. I think we should be good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, everyone,
Yeah, I think we're
welcome
good.
to a mini emergency broadcast episode of Follow My Tracers. Um, I am your host, Figure Nine, and today I'm joined just by Power Grudge. Today, Harley is not able to join us. How's it going, man?
Good. Big news out of last night for sure.
Yeah, the it's funny. Pretty much just as we stopped the episode yesterday, a post came out about the Xbox Live price hike. That obviously was the main topic of yesterday's show and the main topic of yesterday's news. Really, they've reversed it. So I think you have the statement there, right?
Yes, I do. So this was posted on January 22nd at 8:52 p.m. So this is Pacific time. So I don't know how far back is Pacific time to us. Like a
It's
few cents.
3 hours, so
A few
that would
cents.
be like
Yeah.
almost midnight when that came out here. So
Yeah. So about like an hour and a half ish after we had ended our show is when all this started coming out. So their statement reads, "We messed up today and you were right to let us know. Connecting and playing with friends is a vital part of gaming, and we failed to meet the expectations of players who count on it every day. As a result, we have decided not to change Xbox Live Gold pricing. We're turning this moment into an opportunity to bring Xbox Live more in line with how we see the player at the center of their experience. For free to play games, you will no longer need an Xbox Live Gold membership to play those games on Xbox. We are working hard to deliver this change as soon as possible in the coming months. If you're an Xbox Live Gold member already, you stay at your current price for renewal. New and existing members can continue to enjoy Xbox Live Gold for the same prices they pay today. In the US, $9.99 for 1 month, $24.99 for 3 months, $39.99 for 6 months, and $59.99 for the retail 12 months. Thank you." Woo!
yeah,
That's good news. It makes me pretty happy, especially since yesterday was was kind of not too pleased with them about it, but
nobody was pleased with them about everything. That was a blatant cash grab, and yeah, like that was. I thought I was really surprised by how quick they turned this around. Um, but yeah, good on Xbox for responding so quickly and not only just reversing the price hike, but also removing the gold requirement for free to play games. That's that's good. That brings them in line with everyone else. Um, Not saying we should praise Xbox for everything that just happened because obviously they tried to pull a fast one on us, but at the same time, I mean, it's a good thing that they responded really quick. They're clearly listening, and they did turn it into a bit of a positive with removing that free to play barrier. So that's it's all good news.
I could have swore back when I had my Xbox 360, there was Xbox Live Silver and Xbox Live Gold. Do you remember what silver, like silver to gold? Obviously, like the multiplayer was the big thing for it. But do you remember what you could do with a silver account?
Oh, I forget. I think you could have friends. Um, might be able to message them. I don't think you could party chat. I don't think that was in silver. I think that was gold only. I think you could. Yeah, I don't remember all the exact features, but silver members couldn't do too much.
Yeah, because I had silver for the longest time, and then switching to gold was like such a big revelation. But the prices really haven't changed in 10 years, eh?
No, they haven't.
I find that kind of crazy. Like it's cool, but well, I don't know. Is that cool? I don't know.
I
I guess
mean,
it's a good thing.
it's a good thing for us. And I stand by my point from yesterday that really gold should be free in my opinion. But yeah, the fact that the price hasn't gone up in 10 years is good. That's a good thing. Um, we should never be asking companies to raise prices on stuff, right? So
Yeah.
um, Yeah, definitely a good thing.
So with them, because you mentioned this last night when we found out about the news, when in their statement when they were saying that they're going to have to be in the coming months making this change, what would entail in making that change? Because you were saying it's essentially just like a switch they could probably flip, but could there be more to it than that?
Maybe. Maybe there's some deep rooted like programming stuff within Xbox's like online architecture that like checks for gold in certain areas, and maybe it's a little more complicated than just a simple toggle being like, okay, free to play doesn't need gold anymore. I don't know. Um, the timeline in the coming months is interesting because like when's that? Um, I thought it'd be a pretty quick change to remove that free to play barrier. Yeah, but again, maybe it's more complicated than I think. But I was reading some stuff on Twitter today about the removing the free to play thing, and apparently Xbox has been working on that for a number of for not a number of months, but a long time, trying to like working to get rid of the free to play thing for gold. So maybe that lends credence to this is more complicated than we think. The I guess it's easy enough for us to sit back and be like, oh, it's just a switch, and they just flip it. And maybe that's true, but yeah, maybe it's not. So, but hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Hopefully it's like before the summer, like somewhere like February, March, April, like somewhere in there. It kind of, flips out. That would be good.
Yeah, like I can't imagine. Like I'm sure there's some complications to it, and I'm sure there's like I don't know what they wouldn't have to talk to like any like let's say like Epic Games, like they wouldn't have to talk to them about switching from needing Xbox Live to not, because that doesn't really affect Epic Games, or it doesn't really affect like the game itself. You know what I mean? Like that's that part of the equation I think that you can take out. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's hard to say too. I don't know enough about it to really like say for sure what I would imagine would go behind it, but it would just make sense. Cause what you were saying last night about how it was pretty much just a switch, because I'm sure there's just like an option in their code or whatever just to kind of enable like it can read if you have Xbox Live Gold access or not, and then that would let you play the game or not. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about it, but that would be my best guess.
Yeah, but either way, big change. Good change. Good that the price isn't going up. Um, yeah, craziness, crazy day yesterday because of that. That was probably like the biggest like controversy thing Xbox has had in a very long time, like we were saying. So, um, good on them for responding quickly and realizing that it was a mistake. And maybe they thought that the response wouldn't be as negative and people would just be like, oh, I might as well just get Game Pass now. But then obviously the response was taken the other way of, what the hell? Why are you doubling the price for no reason? So,
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it wasn't, like I said, maybe it wasn't a decision that Xbox even really made. It could have been some CEO, some shareholder meeting, board of directors, whatever, where it was just like, hey, we haven't doubled the price of Xbox Live in 10 years. Like, or we haven't increased it in 10 years. Let's increase it. And everyone signed off on it, and it kind of just happened. Like, who knows? It'll be interesting to see in the coming days if there's any kind of like news stories about that. Like maybe Phil Spencer will do an interview or something like that, and he'll shed a bit of light. But yeah, I don't know if we'll ever really know the reason why they decided that they thought that was a good idea.
No, and like I don't even expect an answer really. Like it'd be cool if Phil Spencer or anybody really who's like higher up at Xbox kind of had an explanation for it. But like we've seen like every time Netflix increases their prices, everybody seems to get in like a hubbub. Even if it's just like a buck or two, people seem to get really mad about it. So like understandably so, when this happened, yeah, like everybody's gonna get mad. Even um like you were saying, I don't know if a lot of people read the fine print. If like if you already were subscribing, it would kind of just grandfather you in, or it would keep your price until whatever. But it's almost kind of a good thing that not everybody kind of read that part of, or not like saw that part of it for the most part. Like they just kind of saw the big price hike, because I mean, this is a great change, and I think that maybe this will kind of start to get them to maybe change their business model a little bit. to kind of reflect maybe what PlayStation's doing. Because as much as I don't like having like PlayStation consoles in our house and all that, it's just nice when I kind of agree more with PlayStation's business model, and it's kind of nice to see Xbox very, very slowly, even though they changed something and it didn't really change because they changed it back. Maybe this will kind of get them to start going forward with, like I was saying last night, it's very archaic that you have to pay to access online multiplayer when like everywhere else you don't need to. So
Well,
hopefully this is kind of a step in that direction. But
well,
I don't know.
you do need to pay. You need to pay on PlayStation. You need to pay on Nintendo, unless it's a free to play game.
Yeah, well that's I should have elaborated more, but that's kind of what I mean. So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and they are doing it. So.
it's interesting that I mean the play it's about the business model thing. I think you hit on a good point where Xbox has relied on the gold membership revenue for so long. Since they really implemented Xbox Live, really that's been a big part of their revenue driver. So much so that everyone else copied them. Nintendo and PlayStation copied them for accessing online multiplayer. And now that this happened, and maybe Game Pass is a thing, maybe this causes them to rethink it, being like, okay, we're already kind of on shaky ground with charging people to access multiplayer. Like, how can we change our business model so we don't need to rely on that subscription revenue, and maybe we can rely on something else? I don't know. It's a big question, but clearly they're already on shaky ground with charging people for gold, and then they tried to increase it, and that was even worse. So, yeah, I think you hit on an interesting point there. But for the most part, like I think like on Xbox adapting to PlayStation's model, like I mean PlayStation adapted to Xbox's model. They started charging for multiplayer with the PS4. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I never
because
played
it used
online
to be free.
PS4 when I had
Yeah,
it, so
yeah,
I didn't
it
know.
was free on PS3, and that was a big thing. But it was the PS3 multiplayer services were notoriously pretty bad, and I can speak from experience there when I had a PS3. Where yeah, sure it was free, but servers were down all the time, and it would crash, and party chat was really weird, and it didn't work great. And it was just kind of like it didn't really compare to Xbox Live, which is just so smooth, and to this day is so smooth. But now I like now Sony's charging for it, and it's pretty much the exact same thing. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in these coming days. If there's any more news about this, or we got a timeline on the free to play thing. But yeah, Jim and I felt compelled to do a mini show here. I don't think we need to talk about it too much longer, but just to kind of correct on it, because I mean not to correct, I guess, because when we were doing the show last night, the decision wasn't reversed, and all the feelings were certainly justified, and everything we said I think was certainly justified. And now they've gone back on it, and they went back on it so quick that we were like, oh crap, like if people listen to this tomorrow, now it's going to be out of date, so we need to like correct ourselves, I guess. So
Yeah, it would have been a hell of a show if we were doing it live. And then
oh,
there
could
was
you
decision
imagine?
reversed.
That
Probably
would have
could
been
went for
wild.
another, like hour.
That would have been crazy if they decided on that like at like 9 o'clock or 9:30 whenever we started the main topic, and then that would have been pretty cool to react to live, being like, and it's not a thing anymore. Okay, but either way, yeah, I don't really have much more to say. Do you have anything more to say on the topic?
um, I guess all I'll say is I'm happy it happened. I still, like I said, even though I don't expect an explanation, I still just want to know who kind of decided it, or like what group decided that this was a good idea. And then you never know, maybe this will lead to whoever decided to do it, like, hey, like get out the door type of thing. So I don't know. We'll see. When we have more info, it'll be more to say. But as of right now, I am happy. Still kind of like, I'm not sour. I'm still kind of like, why would they decide to do this? It's like with the Xbox One reveal, like we were saying last night. Like, why would they decide all these features that don't make any sense?
Yeah,
And it's nice they went back on it, but I want to know why they decided to do it. If they're trying to, with the Xbox One, I could see them saying, well, this is a new game console. We're kind of changing how game consoles work. But with the Xbox Live Gold increase, this just didn't seem like any good reason to do it. So, I mean, going for Game Pass, yeah, that's probably the main reason why. But who knows? We'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll find out in the next week or so.
yeah. I'm sure there'll be lots of journalists in the games media trying to get interviews and answers. So we'll see if Xbox, like, yeah, they send out Phil Spencer, or maybe they send out like I don't know. I don't think Major Nelson would really know the answer, but there's a couple of figures at Xbox that could certainly clear the air a little bit, which I think would be good, and I think that would be a good look for them too. To not only did they reverse it, but then they can kind of own up to it, right, and be like, hey, look, like this is exactly why this happened. You know, we went back on it, we realized it was a mistake. The decision was made at this level. I signed off on it. You know, whatever it is. Because I think it'd be interesting to hear, like, yeah, like if Phil Spencer was like, "Yep, let's go ahead and do that, guys," like, or if it was like "Sorry, Phil, we're increasing Xbox Live Gold prices," and it's like, okay, right? I'd be interested to hear that. And again, I guess I don't really care because what's done is done at this point. But at the same time, it'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, like in the end, really nothing happened because now we're back to what it was before, except for the free to play aspect. But in terms of the pricing, we're where we are now. So I don't know that it didn't last too long, or it's just I don't know. It's just a whole lot I don't know, to be honest. So
Yeah,
we'll figure it out eventually.
But what we do know is that the price hike is reversed, and that free to play multiplayer games will be actually free to play now. So that's two positive steps. Or I guess one step was kind of just making it from a bad step back to where it was, and then one positive step forward. So that, I mean, they turned a negative into a positive in a way, which I guess, which is nice.
That's good, I guess.
Right? They turned a negative into a positive. I've been hearing stuff about like how this was like, or like not hearing, I guess reading stuff, how it was like premeditated, and then how it was like, oh, like they planned to do this. It was a publicity stunt. They wanted to like do this, and it's like, no, why would they want to do this? They took a ton of flack yesterday, so certainly a mistake.
Maybe they figure high risk, high reward, but I don't know. That's
well, I'm sure that whoever's made this decision and they signed off on it, they must have known that there would have been a negative response, but maybe not to the degree that they were thinking. But I mean, it's encouraging to know for us. Even as small like content creators, but I mean just as gamers even too, that like we can change things. You know, if there's enough of us that sound our voices on something and want something changed, we can change it. You know, and
that's a good feeling too. It's not like our voices aren't heard.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like they just turned a blind eye or turned the other cheek kind of thing. No, they were totally listening. It wasn't just big media doing it. It was literally like a bunch of people like us, just gamers, and like, yeah, it's nice to know that we can actually change stuff if we all kind of mobilize together and agree on something that isn't right. And I guess another example of that would be the whole Battlefront 2 like microtransaction thing, where everyone went really up in arms about that, and that changed, right? So
yeah, that was a big one too.
So I think that's encouraging for the future, that we know that, I guess with certain companies anyways, if you make enough of a stink about something, that maybe they'll listen,
Yeah, and hopefully like we don't have to do too much more of that in the future. But it's nice to know that when it happens, it's for a good reason. It's not like this happened just for no reason. So maybe this will encourage more people to, if they have a Series X or whatever and they don't have Xbox Live yet, or they're planning on getting one and all they want to play is, let's say, Warzone's going to be under that free to play loop, I guess, now, but like Warzone or Dauntless or Fortnite or anything like that, like there's a ton of high quality free to play games. So it's not like people are going to be missing out on too much. Well, they will be, but like if they don't have any interest in getting the Xbox Live Gold subscription, there's still a ton of stuff you could do. So that's nice. It's a nice feeling for people that don't have it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Grass is always greener. I don't know.
Yep, and for Halo Infinite, that's very good, because now it's actually free to play, right? But Halo, if people picked up an Xbox Series S or whatever, and then they wanted to play Halo Infinite, they couldn't do that right away, because at least the multiplayer part, because they would be like, oh no, you got to be a gold member, and then it's like, oh crap, okay, how much is that? Well, it's $120 a year, right? Or even before that price, like, oh, it's $60 a year, and I guess $60 is a bit more palatable, but now it's just, nope, you're good, you can play it, which is good. Excited for that. Yeah, that's all I have, man. I'm not sure if you have anything else.
That's all I got.
Cool. Well, yeah, we just wanted to do the show real quick. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been about 20 minutes. That's perfect. We'll be back next week. Well, actually, interestingly enough, I guess I move on that Friday. So
we could do it Saturday.
I guess we could do it Friday too. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We'll figure it out. There will be an episode next week. It just might not be during the regular time, but we'll keep you all posted. Either way. I guess I'll plug the socials real quick so you guys can follow us on Facebook. Just search for Follow My Tracers. On Twitter, we are at FMT Show. Obviously, subscribe here on YouTube if you like what you hear, and leave us a comment, like the video, share it if you want. And if you want to be notified when we actually go live, you can hit the bell as well. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Figure9TV, Figure09TV, and on twitch.tv/Figure09. And how about you, man?
If you want to follow me on Xbox or add me on Xbox, I'm at Power Grudge, as you can see on screen, or if you're just listening, at Power Grudge. On GOG, Galaxy, Epic Game Store, Steam. I'm Power Grudge on everything, so if you search me, you're bound to find me.
Sweet.
And I don't think there's anything else. I can't remember. No, there wasn't anything else. I plugged that Star Wars book, which I actually want to correct because it didn't actually say the full title of the book. So it's Star Wars: The High Republic, but the book is called Light of the Jedi.
Okay.
So, excellent book. New York Times bestseller, debuted at #1, which is very cool. I recommend picking it up.
There you
Not
go.
Sponsored, but
not sponsored.
Oh, that would be so fucking cool if we were sponsored by Lucasfilm. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna get on the email right away and start.
All right. Well, next episode of Follow My Tracers is brought to you by Lucasfilm Games. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.